My husband showed up late to my birthday party, but when I saw the photo of him with another woman on our family slideshow, I knew my life had just changed forever. I'm Sarah. I'm 52 years old, and this is my story. A story that hurts, but one that ultimately taught me my own worth. Before I continue with this emotional story, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment telling me where you're watching from. I'm sure my story will touch your heart. It was a Saturday in October, and the smell of my grandmother's apple pie recipe filled the entire kitchen. I had been planning my birthday party for weeks. 52 years deserved a special celebration, I thought. The house was decorated with autumn leaves and pumpkins that I had arranged myself, the warm orange and gold colors I've always loved. My sister Lisa had come early to help me with the potato salad, that secret family recipe our mom taught us. "Where's Michael?" Lisa asked me, glancing toward the door every 5 minutes. My husband of 25 years had promised to be there by 5 in the afternoon. It was already 7:30. "He must be finishing something at the office," I told her, though inside I felt that cold sensation in your stomach when something isn't right. You know how he is about work. The guests started arriving, my neighbor Jim with his wife, the ladies from book club, my cousins who came from Albany. Classic rock was playing from the kitchen stereo, and I smiled, hugged everyone, thanked them for their gifts, but my eyes constantly searched toward the street. My son Jake, 26 years old, approached me with a forced smile. "Mom, do you want me to call Dad?" "No, honey, he should be here soon," I lied, feeling my cheeks burn with embarrassment. All my guests noticed the host's absence. When it was 8:30, I decided I couldn't keep waiting. "Let's cut the cake," I announced with a smile that hurt my face. My cousin Emma had brought that beautiful red velvet cake I love so much, decorated with fresh strawberries and cream cheese frosting. Everyone sang happy birthday with such warmth that for a moment I forgot my pain. I closed my eyes and made a wish that Michael would walk through that door with a reasonable explanation. Just as I was cutting the first slice, I heard the familiar sound of his pickup truck in the driveway. My heart jumped. Michael appeared at the door in his wrinkled blue button-down and that smile that used to melt my heart. Sorry, he shouted, approaching me with open arms. "Everything got complicated at the office, a last-minute client." He hugged me tight, and I could smell a perfume that wasn't mine. It was sweet, floral, definitely not my usual vanilla fragrance. But in that moment, surrounded by family and friends, I just wanted to believe everything was okay. "It's all right, honey," I whispered in his ear. "What matters is that you're here now." The party continued until almost 11 at night. Michael behaved like the perfect husband. He danced with me, joked with the guests, helped serve the barbecue that my sister had prepared. But I noticed he was distant, as if his mind was somewhere else. After all the guests left, while we were cleaning up plates and decorations, Michael said something I couldn't forget. "Sarah, I need to tell you something important, but not tonight. Tomorrow we'll talk, okay?" My stomach turned. In 25 years of marriage, I had learned to read the signs. That phrase never brought good news. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay awake listening to his peaceful breathing beside me, wondering what could have been so important at the office that made him 3 hours late to my birthday. Michael had never been irresponsible. He was a man of his word, punctual, dedicated to the family. I remembered the past few months, phone calls he would end when I entered the room, excuses for coming home late, weekend work that had never existed before. The small details that a wife notices but prefers to ignore, hoping she's wrong. The next morning, Sunday, while I was making coffee with cinnamon like every morning, Michael sat at the kitchen table with an expression I had never seen. "I need to be honest with you, but that was just the beginning." "There's someone else," Michael told me, looking down at his hands as if the words were too heavy to say while looking into my eyes. The world stopped. The coffee spilled over the table, creating a dark stain that spread slowly, like my pain. "What did you say?" My voice came out as a whisper. "Her name is Patricia. She works in accounting. I didn't want it to happen, Sarah, but I fell in love with her." 25 years of marriage, of building a life together, of raising our son, of shared dreams, and he had fallen in love with someone else. How long, was all I could ask. 6 months. 6 months. Half a year of lies, of acting, of pretending she loved me while sleeping with another woman. Yesterday, were you with her? Is that why you were late to my birthday? Michael nodded, without looking up. I wanted to tell you after the party. I didn't want to ruin your special day. Ruin my special day? Didn't he realize he already had? That every fake hug, every forced smile, every moment he acted like the perfect husband in front of my guests had been a stab in the heart? I got up from the table without saying a word. I walked to our bedroom, closed the door, and collapsed on the bed we had shared for more than 2 decades. I cried like I hadn't cried since my mother died. Michael left the house that same afternoon. He said he would stay at his brother's while we figured out what to do, but I knew he was going to her. The next days were hell. Jake came to see me every afternoon after work. My son, that beautiful young man we had raised together, now had to comfort his mother because his father had decided to destroy our family for a whim. "Mom, you're going to get through this," he would tell me while making chamomile tea. "You're the strongest woman I know." But I didn't feel strong. I felt old, used, replaced by a younger, newer version. My sister Lisa came every morning with donuts from the bakery and neighborhood stories to distract me. "That bastard doesn't deserve you, Sarah. 25 years to throw away for some floozy?" It was Lisa who convinced me to hire a lawyer. "You can't let him take everything you built together. This house, the business, the savings. You have a right to half of everything." The lawyer, an older man named Mr. Harrison, explained the divorce process to me. "Mrs. Sarah, we need to document everything. Assets, bank accounts, properties. Does your husband have social media?" It had never occurred to me to check Michael's Facebook. We were from a generation that used those things more to see photos of grandchildren than to spy on spouses. "My son can help you with that," the lawyer suggested. "Sometimes the evidence is right there, waiting for us to find it." That night, Jake sat with me in front of the computer. "Mom, are you sure you want to do this? It might hurt more." "I need to know the complete truth, honey. I can't live with doubts anymore." Jake opened his father's Facebook page, and we started looking through it. At first, everything seemed normal. Office photos, some memes he shared, old family pictures. But then we found something that broke my heart in a different way. What came next changed everything. Jake found a photo dated the day of my birthday, a photo that Michael had posted at 6 in the evening, right when he should have been at my party. In the image, he appeared, smiling, hugging a young, blonde, pretty woman. They were at an upscale restaurant, toasting with wine glasses. The photo had a comment that said, "Celebrating love with my princess." My princess. That's what he used to call me. Jake didn't know what to say. My son had discovered that his father had not only lied to us, but had been celebrating with his lover while I waited for him to come to my birthday. "You know what hurts the most, honey?" I told him, wiping away my tears. "That he chose to be with her instead of me on my special day. That he preferred to celebrate his fake love rather than come celebrate the 52 years of the woman who gave him the best years of her life." Jake printed the photo. He also saved screenshots of other comments that Michael's friends had left congratulating him on his new relationship. Some of those friends had been at my party just hours later, pretending not to know anything. The next day, I took all the evidence to Mr. Harrison. "Perfect, Mrs. Sarah. This proves adultery and abandonment of the home. We have a very solid case." But I didn't just want to win a lawsuit. I wanted justice. I wanted Michael to feel at least a small part of the pain he had caused me. It was my cousin Emma who gave me the idea. Emma worked for an event planning company and had connections everywhere. "You know what, cousin? I think it's time for Michael to learn the consequences of his actions. Remember you told me there's going to be a year-end party at his company?"
Indeed, every December, the company where Michael worked organized a big celebration for all employees and their families. It was the most important social event of the year for them. Emma, what are you thinking? That it's time for everyone at that company to know exactly who Michael really is. And what better time than when he's there with his new princess? My cousin had a mischievous smile I hadn't seen since we were kids. I have a friend who handles the audio and video system for corporate events. His name is Rob, and let's just say he owes me some favors. The idea was risky, but poetic. Michael had humiliated our family in front of all our acquaintances. He had arrived late to my birthday, smelling like someone else's perfume, had pretended to be the perfect husband while secretly celebrating his betrayal. What exactly are you proposing? I asked. A special presentation. Photos of Michael and Patricia's love story, including that beautiful image from your birthday, all projected on the big screen in front of all his colleagues, bosses, and of course, in front of her. Jake objected at first. Mom, that could get you in legal trouble. But Mr. Harrison reassured me. Mrs. Sarah, if they're photos he posted himself on public social media, there's no legal problem. It's public information. The following weeks, I spent planning every detail. Emma and Rob created a presentation that told the beautiful story of Michael and Patricia with exact dates of their encounters, restaurants where they had been, and of course, the photo from my birthday as the grand finale. Are you sure you want to do this, Sarah? Lisa asked me one afternoon while we were having coffee. Once you do this, there's no going back. Lisa, he didn't have a way back when he decided to be with another woman on my birthday, when he decided to lie to my face for 6 months, when he decided to break our family for a whim.
My sister nodded. You're right. That man needs to learn that actions have consequences. The company party was Saturday, December 15th. Rob confirmed that he would have access to the system during the main toast, when all employees would be gathered in the main hall. It'll be quick, he explained to me. 5 minutes of presentation right after the general manager's speech. By the time they realize what's happening, it'll be too late to stop it. That week, I didn't sleep well. I wondered if I was doing the right thing, if I wasn't lowering myself to his level. But then I remembered that photo of him toasting with her while I waited at home, surrounded by guests who whispered about my husband's absence. Friday night, Jake came to dinner at home. Mom, tomorrow everything is going to change. Are you ready? Honey, I've been preparing for this moment for 52 years. I just didn't know it was coming. What was going to happen that night would change our lives forever. Saturday night, I dressed in my best black dress, the one Michael always said made me look elegant. I did my hair, put on my pearl earrings, and for the first time in months, I felt beautiful. Emma accompanied me to the outskirts of the hotel where the party was being held. Do you want me to go in with you? She asked me. No, cousin. I have to do this alone. Rob had gotten me an invitation as a special guest. Officially, I was the wife of the sales office Employee of the Year. Ironically, Michael had won that recognition for his excellent numbers in recent months. I suppose love had given him renewed energy for work. I entered the ballroom and saw him immediately. He was at a table near the front, elegant in his gray suit, and beside him was her, Patricia. She was exactly like in the photos. Young, blonde, smiling. She wore a red dress that probably cost more than my monthly rent. Michael saw me and his face fell apart. He got up from the table as if he had seen a ghost. Sarah, what are you doing here? I came to meet your new princess, I told him with a smile I had practiced in front of the mirror all week. And to celebrate with you, of course. Patricia extended her hand with a nervous smile. Nice to meet you, I'm Patricia. Nice to meet you, Patricia. I'm the wife. Well, the soon-to-be ex-wife. Michael turned red as a tomato. Sarah, please, this isn't the place. This isn't the place, like it also wasn't the place to be with her on my birthday.
The company's general manager approached the microphone to give his annual speech. "Good evening, dear employees and families. This year has been extraordinary for our company." I smiled. Rob had sent me a message. "Everything ready? In 5 minutes." I returned to my table, which was strategically located where I could perfectly see Michael and Patricia's reaction. The director continued his speech about achievements, exceeded goals, and outstanding employees. "And now we want to share with you some special stories of love and dedication that have flourished in our company this year." Michael frowned. That wasn't in the official program. The giant screen lit up with a presentation that said, "Corporate Love Stories, a Special Dedication." The first image appeared, Michael and Patricia on their first date, according to the dates from the Facebook photos. March 15th, 2024. A murmur ran through the room. Some employees began to smile, thinking it was a romantic surprise organized by the company. "How sweet!" someone shouted from the back. Michael stood up. "What the hell is happening?" The second photo appeared, Michael and Patricia on a weekend trip, April 23rd, 2024. The photo had the original comment, "Romantic getaway with my secret love." Now the murmurs were different. Employees who knew Michael began to whisper among themselves. Some turned to look at our table. Patricia took Michael's hand. "Michael, what is this?" "I don't know," he lied, desperately looking for the audio and video technician. The third photo was perfect. Michael and Patricia at the upscale restaurant, toasting with wine glasses. The date was clearly visible, October 14th, 2024, my birthday. The comment said, "Celebrating love with my princess, 6:30 p.m. Total silence filled the room. Everyone had done the math. If Michael was celebrating with Patricia at 6:30 p.m., where was he when his wife was waiting for him at her birthday? The fourth photo then appeared, an image that Rob had taken from my sister Lisa's social media. It was me, alone, cutting my birthday cake while guests sang happy birthday. The photo was dated and timed October 14th, 2024, 8:30 p.m. The contrast was devastating. At the same time Michael was toasting with his lover, his wife was cutting her birthday cake alone.
Patricia dropped Michael's hand as if it burned. "Were you married when we started dating?" "Patricia, I'll explain later." "Were you married?" she screamed, and her voice was heard throughout the room thanks to the open microphones. The fifth and final photo was the final blow, an image of our wedding, 25 years ago. Michael and I, young, smiling, promising eternal love in front of the altar. The text said, 25 years of marriage, October 1999 to October 2024. Happy wedding anniversary, Michael. The silence was deafening. Patricia got up from the table, grabbed her purse, and ran out of the room crying. Michael followed her, but before leaving, he turned toward me with a look of pure hatred. The general manager tried to regain control. "Well, this has been unexpected. Let's continue with..." But nobody was paying attention anymore. The entire room was talking about what they had just witnessed. I got up from my table, took my purse, and walked toward the exit with my head held high. When I passed by the table of Michael's bosses, the human resources director stopped me. "Ma'am, I'm very sorry about this situation. This is completely unacceptable for our company." "Don't worry," I told him with a serene smile. "I think Michael is going to have free time very soon to reflect on his decisions." As I walked toward the exit, I could hear the whispers. How disrespectful. Poor woman. 25 years thrown away. How could he do that to her? Outside the hotel, Emma was waiting for me in the car with a huge smile. "How do you feel, cousin?" For the first time in months, I felt free. Michael called me that same night, furious. "How could you humiliate me like that in front of the entire company?" "Humiliate you?" I told him with a calm that surprised even myself. "Michael, I didn't humiliate you. I just showed the truth. Your own photos, your own comments, your own decisions.
They're going to fire me from work. That's not my problem. You should have thought about the consequences before betraying your family. Indeed, Michael was fired the following Monday. The company didn't tolerate that kind of behavior from their employees, especially not in public, in front of all their colleagues and bosses. Patricia never spoke to him again. According to what I found out later through Jake, she had broken up with Michael that same night. Apparently, Michael had told her he had been divorced for years. When she discovered he had lied about that too, she decided she couldn't trust him. The divorce process was quick. Michael didn't have money for a good lawyer after losing his job, and all the evidence was in my favor. I kept the house, half the savings, and monthly alimony. But the most important thing I recovered was my dignity. 3 months after the divorce, I decided to completely renovate the house. I changed the living room furniture, painted the walls in cheerful colors, planted new flowers in the garden. I wanted to erase any trace of those years of lies. Jake helped me with everything. My son had become my greatest support. "Mom, I've never seen you so strong," he would tell me while we painted together. "It's because I never had to be before, honey. But I discovered I have a strength I didn't even know existed." A year later, on my 53rd birthday, I organized an even bigger party than the previous one. I invited all my family, friends, neighbors. This time I didn't wait for anyone.